Erik Peterson on Williston Trending Topics News Radio Live.
Good morning. Good to have you with us. Tom Simon in Williston Trending Topics News Radio Live, Coyote Radio, every Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock. We talk with Erik Peterson, Proven Realty EXP, about the real estate market. Today our topic is talking about home inspections. Good morning, Erik. How are you doing?
Hey, doing great as always, Tom. How about you?
I'm doing good. Let's find out from you, first of all, right off the bat, are home inspections worth the cost?
Yeah, it's not something that you have to do. Sometimes the banks will want you to do a home inspection, but it's usually a discretionary spend. We have not had one single client order a home inspection and not find value in it. These home inspectors are professionals, they're licensed, they're bonded, they're experts, and they're uncovering a lot of issues with the houses. So not only do we recommend them highly to any buyers out there, we also recommend them to any sellers as well. And we can go into that in a few minutes, but definitely worth the time and definitely worth the money to get a home inspection.
With our weather the way it is, you got to have a home inspection. This is not sunny California.
Exactly. It's not California. We've had a ton of rain the last few years, lots of roofs and hail damage, wind damage. There's been, I don't want to say shady contractors, that's really a bad way to put it, but just not the guys that were building these houses and women that should have been building them. So a lot of stuff kind of slipped under the rug, if you will, fell through the cracks. And we're noticing that a lot of these houses are showing age based on use as well. And it's really important to have a home inspection to protect one of your biggest assets you'll ever have.
We've had hailstorms a couple of times in the last couple of years. Yep. And regretfully, there are folks who have filed insurance claims to fix their roofs and
Yep.
have pocketed the money and not used it for the roofs.
Yes. We've had that situation come a couple of times where we represented a buyer. They buy a house. It was not disclosed on any of the owner's property disclosures. All of a sudden they see a leak. They call maybe a contractor. Contractor comes out and says, oh, we were here last year. The previous owner knows about the damage, whether it's water, hail, and obviously that's how you open up a can of risk, if you will, and how attorneys obviously can get involved there and nobody wins.
Get into the nitty gritty. What does a home inspection actually cover, Erik?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things, and it really just comes down to how thorough you want to make it. But really the number one thing you just mentioned is a roof. You want to make sure you have a good solid roof with no damage, no issues, because you don't want that to be leaking water, snow, causing mold in there. We've seen a lot of black mold lately. You want to make sure that all of your flashing's good, that your attic can, breathe as well. You want to make sure that your structure's sound. That would be your foundations, the walls, the floor joists. We've had a few situations where there was cracks in the foundation and water's been getting in. Anything related to the exterior, whether that's siding, perhaps that's even the outside of the grading of how the property drains away when it does rain. Does the water drain away from your house or does it come back in? Obviously, the big ones are electrical. Make sure that all of your outlets are working, that there's no safety or fire hazards. Plumbing's another one. We've had a lot of leaky pipes as some of these houses weren't winterized properly if nobody's been living in them for a while. Some of these bank foreclosures and repos, somebody might not have, winterized it properly. You've got leaks in the pipes. And then what about your HVAC? How old is your system? Has it been serviced? Is it blowing hot air? Is it blowing cold air if you have an air conditioner? Those are the types of things you really got to pay attention to. You also want to make sure that you have looked for pests, rodents. There's a lot of mice in these houses. Did they chew through any wires? Did they make a mess? Is that going to lead to future problems as well? And then probably the biggest thing that most people don't really consider is, are all of the fire alarms working? Is there a carbon monoxide detection system in there to protect you in case you have a carbon monoxide leak? You don't want to pass away, obviously, when you're sleeping. And then is there radon? I mean, that's another issue. It's not too popular out here. I had a lot of radon in my previous home, learned the lesson the hard way. The builder said that he actually put in this mitigation system and just didn't. He did, it just never went outside of the house. It was literally leaking radon back into the house where we were living. And then really more than anything, you just want to know that what you're buying is going to be in good shape, functional. And when you move your family in there, is that something that you're going to have some more money that you've got to dump into, and just make sure to protect your assets.
Erik Peterson, Proven Realty EXP, with us every Tuesday morning in the 8 o'clock hour right here on Coyote Radio. It's obvious, Erik, what benefits there are for buyers with a home inspection. But what about sellers? How do they benefit?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's something we always recommend to our clients when we are listing a property is to get a home inspection. As I mentioned before, you don't have to, but we're really looking to do a couple of things. We want to make sure that your house has all of the minor issues fixed right away, that there's no major issues as well that we need to identify and get fixed. And then as buyers are coming through these houses, they're going to order an inspection anyway. It's nice to know all of the issues up front. You can then price it accordingly, get those items fixed. And then a lot of times if a buyer's coming down looking at two potential houses, maybe they can't decide between one. If one has a home inspection where all the little issues have been fixed and has kind of a clean bill of health, they're naturally going to lead that way. So it really can help you get more value. And then most significantly, you as a seller don't want to be 2 months into this thing. Somebody finds an issue as a buyer into an inspection, and all of a sudden now you just want this house done. Everybody always expects the worst. That's human nature. So there might be a small roof leak. They're going to say, wow, the whole thing needs to be replaced. And what else am I missing? And everybody will want a lot more money than the actual cost will fix. So it will save you thousands and up to tens of thousands, as some of our clients have found out.
Talk more specifically now about what kinds of things we ought to put into our home inspection. Are there things that folks don't normally think about that they ought to be thinking about?
Yeah, absolutely. You just hire a licensed and bonded inspector. You could go right to our website and pull up our buyer's guide. There's a whole list of ones that we've used. We don't recommend anyone in particular. They're all good. Find the one that's going to get you in a timely manner that you can know and trust. And then they're going to make a list and literally tear the house apart, come up with a list of all the items that need further attention. And then that also helps you kind of negotiate the deal and then get those items fixed. Leaky roofs, mold's a big issue, foundation problems. And is this something that, even though you fell in love with the house, is this going to cost you way more money in the future to fix these problems? And are you going to have any major fails with your appliances or your, let's say your hot water heater? Those aren't cheap. Maybe your furnace is going up. You want to identify all the small and large items so that in the future you don't have to pay a whole bunch of money to keep this house running.
So in the end, even though it costs some money at the forefront, yep, it's going to save you money overall, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know anybody that's purchased one that didn't say at the end, I wish I wouldn't have done that. At least it'll give you the peace of mind to help you sleep. And then if any issues show up in the future and maybe you have to go after the seller if you bought a house, at least you'll have that documentation. Everybody will be on the same page and you get that unbiased third-party validation in case there are any issues in the future.
Erik Peterson with Proven Realty EXP with us every Tuesday morning in the 8 o'clock hour. How do we find you, Erik?
You can look on our website at www.provenrealtymd.com. Go there, check out our story, find out more about what we have. You can see some of our successes as well, and we'd be happy to help you any way we can.
Home inspections, our topic for the day. Erik, have a great week.
You too. I appreciate it, Tom. Take care.
We'll see you soon.